But so yeah, Stephen A was going on a podcast tour talking about various things. Shannon Sharp is now there. Uncle Shay Shay, that's what you guys call him. He's at First Take now, ESPN. Um, and I thought that like what I found interesting is like when I find that like people probably have a certain opinion of Skip, but they always speak about Skip with a certain level of reverence, despite their disagreements with him. And I just felt like he did not have any of that for Max. when Joe I almost said Joe Biden, when Joe Budden's podcast or Joe Budden Network or whatever asked him about like the Max thing, it just that level of like it just wasn't there. So I'm gonna play what he said real quick, and then if you wanna chime in at all with me, let me know. But I'm a whoa, it's not what I wanted. It's what I wanted, and we'll see how we feel about it. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
Um, so here it is.
I didn't like it. I thought the show was stale. I thought that we had flatlined when it came to the public at large, and I'm trying to win. I mean, but you weren't an athlete, and you weren't a journalist, and the absence of the two components left people wondering, why should we listen to you? Okay, well, you might have had that figured out on Sports Nation, or you might have had that figured out on another show. But on this show, if you looked at the content emanating in the social stratosphere, meaning YouTube and other components that you use to measure one's cachet, Q ratings, focus groups, all of these different things, it was like I was damn near doing the show by myself because we were oceans apart in terms of cachet.
I don't even agree with that. I know he runs First Take and he has like a lot of like I don't know. I don't say like managerial producer CEO type power, but people come for all types of people. But let's keep listening.
Well, how are you oceans apart from me if you sitting right across from me? I've been very honest and very consistent about it. There's nothing personal. We weren't enemies or anything. To be real, we ain't spoke since. Other than high and by, or if I had to go on the show when they were doing the morning show, I would get interviewed. But there's been no conversations since, and that's fine with me. That's no problem, because it wasn't like we were boys or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it was all business to me, and it was about, look, man, I'm trying to win, and I don't believe I can win with you.
And yeah, that was the clip, and I just didn't like that clip at all. I thought he was unnecessarily critical of things about Max. In another clip, he did say that like he's like, oh, Max is well spoken, Ivy League, this and that and the other. But I don't. First of all, I didn't know Max wasn't a journalist. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I had no clue.
I didn't know that either. I know he kind of. Well, I kind of knew from the standpoint that he got in kind of through irregular means, probably more than like other people, because this wasn't necessarily like his first thing, and everybody knows he comes from the boxing background, and so and then he transitioned. So it's a little different, from most people, that he's not starting from coming up from football or basketball or sideline report or nothing like that. But continue.
Yeah, and Max. So personally speaking, Max has always been my favorite. That doesn't mean I agree with everything that he said, but I have not watched First Take since Max left. I have to listen to friggin' Kendrick Perkins, dumbass. Sorry, I can't. He can't even pronounce names, and I'm tired of him. Second, I also like I don't know if they bring out that Ryan guy anymore, but I'm like, all these assortment of people, in my opinion, are not a suitable replacement for like the stability and intellect that Max brought to the conversation. Now, granted, he said some things that were crazy. The Iguodala thing, while I'm not mad at it, it's funny. It's just funny as hell to me. Like, with one shot, Iguodala, like you'll say that. And Max was actually, I was actually very conscientious about things that happened with like the black community and whatnot. And people used to put the dashiki cap on his head and put him in like the African outfit and say that he's quote unquote blacker than Stephen Smith. And I believe, is it T.O. who came in comment? And I think that I think that could have been a reason why he wasn't like happy about how things went about, and I think that's what may maybe have caused the downfall of it. But I thought, as much as he was like, "Oh, Kawhi is more clutch than Kobe because of like one finals run or whatever," I thought he was being hyperbolic. But at the end of the day, to me, Max was the best part of that show, and I really haven't watched it since. I may have seen a clip here or there or something out of context on Twitter, Twix, Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it. But I don't know. That didn't move me, Stephen A. It didn't. So yeah.
Uh,
I didn't even know
for
what Max
me,
is
I
doing
think
anymore. Is Max still there?
he was. I don't even know because he was on another show for a while. Yeah, and I don't think he's
now.
on that show anymore. So I'm not sure quite what he's doing. But I think the first part of what he said was, to me, the big picture, the whole picture. Max is not a journalist and not an athlete. So I think that's the biggest problem. He didn't have no respect for him. And you can't work with someone, or at least for a long time, that you don't have no respect for. You don't have to like them, but having no respect for them is kind of crazy. Because, like you said, he's well spoken. He can articulate his points. He had different stuff. But I also think part of the thing is that Max is not a what you would call a big personality. He sometimes did the hot take because these shows are hot take shows. You kind of have to come with some crazy things or some controversial things from time to time to keep the show going, because that's the stuff that goes viral. So he kind of played his part with some of that, but he's not like a big personality. And since it's a 2-man show, you don't even have a third man to kind of carry that. He's not, because the biggest thing about Skip,
Molly kind of would go off the rails sometimes, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but still, they don't necessarily like highlight her because she's still kind of like. I mean, they do more than other shows because she's not just strictly an arbitrator. Kind of more like other shows tend to have the beautiful women that do it. So she's kind of taking a bigger step.
They moderate, but they don't really chime in. Yeah.
Yeah. So she does more, but she's still not like a highlight, quote unquote. But yeah, I just think because the thing about Skip, for example, is that Skip is a big personality. And so even though he's basically kind of thrown away the normal credibility in some people's eyes, it don't matter for him because he's got the platform, he got the show, and he's done it his way. He's found the hot take culture. But I think at some point, kind of like you and me, also, the older we get, that hot take culture and these type of shows are starting to like matter less and less to us, and they don't hit the same. When you're growing up, you're looking at them and they kind of matter, and because like one person usually takes your view, and the other person takes another view, maybe your friends group, and it's just like, so you have that all happen. But as we go to like you and me, we talking about, we like looking at like thinking basketball stuff like that. We just want somebody who talks about the game in a more productive way, or just in a more like all this hot take culture stuff is kind of starting to fade out, I think. But I don't think Max is a good fit for hot take, and I don't think he had any respect for him.
And that brings up two things that you made me think about. One, it kind of reminds me of the kind of idea of like, being an expert and being allowed to speak on something. Like, I'm not a geologist. Should I be speaking on rocks and minerals, even if I do know what I'm talking about? And it kind of, and like, just to keep it in the sports realm, it's like the theoretical coach through the coach that actually played the game. And while I don't think there's a right answer. Like, I don't think you, like, if you're a football soccer coach, I don't think you had to have played football to be able to teach it. You could have been around the game, have all the theories and analytical knowledge to be able to do it. And as Stephen A would say, the ability to galvanize the troops to actually instill inspiration and motivation into your team, into your captain, vice captain, all of that. So that question comes up. But I think that he was smart enough, just in general, despite him not having a quote unquote sports or journalistic background, he was highly intelligent. So I don't think it mattered. Because I'd argue a lot of the times he sounded his takes and what he was saying was a lot better than what Stephen was saying. When Stephen A also was very busy. So I know he's not watching half these games. He has his own podcast now too, right? So that's the first thing that I thought about when he said it. Well, the second thing, damn it. I hope I didn't lose it. You said I think I lost the second thing, but yeah, the needing the credibility background, like I didn't even know that, so that didn't even really bother me. But we'll see what they end up doing with it now, how far it goes or whatnot. I know with Shannon being there, I heard the ratings are back up because I know for a long time they weren't doing that well, all things considered. And a lot of people that have a problem with that Malika Andrews too. So there's just a lot going on down there, but That's about all I have to say about it. I just wanted to chime in real quick because I thought it was thing. As far as like quick fire things that I